All right, people. So we're just gonna get straight into it. Freezy Macbones loses a unanimous points decision against Johnathon Tetteh, and there was a bit of a dramatic close to the end of it. If I'll be honest with you,
this Freezy Macbones should keep his unbeaten record, and look at that.
I watched it live with a couple of my mates on the zone. I had to subscribe. You know, the boy Freezy is someone who I have an extensive boxing past with. He's someone who I trained with over at Miguel's gym in Brixton with. And to be honest, he coached me and we trained together for a number of years before he ventured into the pro game and I went into the amateur game. So I would say he's a couple years my senior in terms of experience. And something I've always admired about him is his hard work, his dedication, and just how passionate he is about the sport. And it's been nice to follow his journey up until this point. I've even been to some of his boxing matches, whether it's in the amateurs or whether it's in the pros. I remember going to see him debut over at York Hall, and it was great to see everybody come out and support the boy just because of how much he's done for the boxing scene, the boxing community. He was running Freezy community sessions during lockdown, and that's where I rekindled my passion for boxing. To be honest, like I spent some time out in September 2019 thinking that this boxing thing weren't for me. I weren't getting fights. I felt like I was on the bench. I felt like the coaches weren't taking me seriously. Big up Mike, rest in peace, Granville. And then I came back in 2020 with a new Vim. I found a new gym local to me, and I said to myself, listen, New Year's resolution, let's just get fit. You know, let's just train and, you know, just get in the gym. Don't worry about boxing. Don't worry about competing. Just focus on your health. And we went into the dreaded lockdown, and the gym that I was at started running everything remotely. So I started working out at home a lot. I was online a lot, saw what Freezy was doing, and you know, it's a good excuse for me to get outside, get some fresh air, move my body, and then things just started to grow from there. I haven't seen him for a while. Your boy is between Ghana and France and wherever else he needs to travel to. Honestly, I can't keep up with him, but we did link up in Ghana a couple of years ago. You know, I go out there every now and again, hoping to go again next year. But anyway, let's get back to the fight. It was a interesting one, to be honest. I was watching the build up, you know, the face off in the black square, the the face off post the press conference, and I wanted to make sure I tuned in for the fight. I got to support the boy. Honestly, the amount of support he showed me over the years is incredible. Um, so the fight was interesting. I think the first half of the fight, I didn't see as much as I would have liked to see from Freezy, if I'll be honest. It did come across as though he was holding back a little bit, and maybe there was a tactic to his game plan. You know, I think with boxing, as much as it's about strength and stamina, you also need to have a game plan. It's very strategic, and it sometimes is a liken to chess, you know? And so I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a method to the madness. And I could see it because in the second half of the fight, I could see that Johnathon Tetteh was tiring, you know, a lot more than Freezy was. He still looked quite fresh and had the energy, looked a lot sharper, and was starting to catch the boy Tetteh. But Um, I don't know. The refs were obviously seeing something else. It was quite, sorry, it's a bit cold out here. It was quite a wide decision on the scorecards, and it felt as though he was a little hard done by. I don't want to sound too biased because I try not to do that in boxing. I feel that sometimes we can throw the words robbery or fixed too easily. We throw it around too easily. But I do think the scorecards were quite wide, and I'm not sure that I would have scored it a unanimous decision. I think when it comes to technicality or the technicality of boxing, I feel as though Tetteh might have been a little further ahead in terms of his style, but his styles make fights. And again, I don't think the scorecards were that wide, and I don't think it was quite a controversial decision in my opinion. But maybe the judges were seeing something that we weren't seeing, that I weren't seeing. It was interesting because Freezy tends to knock out all of his opponents. It's very difficult for people to go the distance with him, and I feel as though Tetteh, he had a good tactic, a good game plan. He even says it in his interview with Code Mickey TV. The holding thing, I'm surprised the ref didn't give him a point for holding because he held so much. I mean, I've held people for less, or people have held me for less and have had a point deducted. So I'm a bit disappointed in the ref for allowing that to go on for as long as he did, because what it allowed Tetteh to do was smother Freezy's work, and it gave him time to breathe. And it can be quite tiring when someone's holding you, leaning on you. It zaps your energy. So he even said himself it was a tactic.
Yeah, it be tactics. Yes, it show you about Mayweather. Yeah. Say Mayweather go punch, then hold you.
I know this can be quite frustrating as well for boxers who are being held all the time, because you feel like you can't get your shots off. You feel like this person is trying to find a way out. You've got to try and find a way to negate that. What I would have liked to have seen Freely do is pop the jab more. As his opponent was coming in to close the gap, I would have liked to see more shorter shots, maybe some more uppercuts and hooks, not the wide looping shots, but the more compact, short range shots, because actually that can present as a warning if they come in too close to try and hold you, and then you can get back to long range, you can get back to keeping the distance really. I would have liked to see Freezy cut the ring off a lot more. I think at times he was following Tetteh around the ring, which just creates a lot more work for you in the long run and gives them more space. When you cut the ring, they are limited in terms of where they can and can't go. If you look at the ring and you draw like a cross in the middle of that ring, you should always be trying to hold the center and moving in a cross type of movement in the ring. And there was also the controversial bite that led to such a dramatic finish. Even the commentators were like, well, why would you do that when you're winning the fight? Even the commentators thought that Freezy had it in the bag. I thought he brought it back in the, what they would call the championship rounds. We were so surprised when they scored it a unanimous decision. But I think that bite also went against him as well. The scorecards were so wide that even without the point deduction, I can't see how they would have given it to him. At this point, he would have had to get a knockout. And, my good mate Kieran, he would always say, if you can take it out the judge's hand. An interesting story, me, Kieran and Freezy all used to train together at Miguel's. And yeah, it was an odd one because I think it was in the eighth. We're like 15 seconds out from the bell, and it looks as though there was some sort of altercation where, I don't know, Tetteh has claimed he's been bitten on the shoulder and has fell to the floor. Now, this guy is seasoned. Yeah, he's watched a lot of boxing, and this could lead to disqualifications on both their ends. Whether there was a bite or not, I can't be too sure. It isn't very clear. I don't know. Even if it was a bite, I don't know that it was dramatic enough for man to fall on the floor like that. And Freezy, I don't know if it's him just being frustrated at all the holding, because the holding it just was a messy fight, and you could see what my man was trying to do. So I can understand the frustration that Freezy may have felt throughout that. I've been in positions myself where you're just like, oh, like, you just want to get this person. And again, I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know if it was him trying to live up to the British Mike Tyson title that, everyone has given him over the years, or what. But he got a point deduction for that, which is unfortunate. And, it's not the thing that you want everyone to remember you for. You don't want that to overshadow your performance. I'm hoping to see Freezy back in the ring again. I feel like a loss doesn't mean the end of your career. You've just got to think about what route you can take. Can we get a rematch? Are there any other opportunities that he can work towards? I'll be honest with you, Freezy Macbones is still my favourite boxer. I hope to see him in the ring again soon. I would love to just see him, catch up with him. I know he's doing the family man life. I'm really proud of him and everything he's accomplished so far. He is someone who has inspired me over the years, still does inspire me. I feel like a lot of my work ethic comes from him, and I honestly don't feel as though I would have been in certain positions or had certain opportunities if it wasn't for all the time and effort that he put into me, when no one were really believing in me like that. He's someone who's cornered me. He's been to my fights. We've trained early mornings together. We've chilled out together. We've ate food together. We've broke bread together. And yeah, he'll always forever be my number one boxer. So yeah, Freezy Macbones, the people's champ. We love you. Ghana loves you. Keep your head up. And I can't wait to see you in the ring soon.